Sacramento Airport. We're going to Hawaii.
Hawaii. On the way.
On the way. And we got all this COVID stuff done. Can you believe it?
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Today I'm here to talk about how when I say we, me and my friend Mel went to Maui during a pandemic. Lots of mask wearing, lots of COVID testing, lots of paperwork, but we did it! And I'm gonna tell you all about it. Hopefully help you have an easier time than we did and get to Maui or wherever you wanna go, even faster, even safer. Tune in! The idea for us to go to Maui came from my friend Elena, who lives in New York. She was working from home and she's like, I don't want to be in the cold, and since I'm working from home, I want to go somewhere else. She was like, Bree, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah. When I was thinking, okay, we're going to go to Hawaii. We didn't even know we were going to go to Maui at the time. We're going to get a plane ticket. We're going to go over there and it's going to be okay. And of course, with COVID, that's not the case. Some places have travel restrictions. So wherever you're traveling, just make sure you check. A lot of places have like ohio.gov/COVID or something like that, where you can check like what they recommend for travel and that sort of thing. Once we found out, like because of course Hawaii is a US state, we didn't need a passport and we could travel back and forth from Hawaii, but we had to do some things, and one of those was to get an account with Safe Travels Hawaii, which is just like Hawaii's way of being like, where are you coming from, where are you going, do you have COVID, do you not, keep us safe. So like Safe Travels Hawaii, I'll show you that. Second, we had to get a COVID test, and it had to be a certain type of COVID test. We had to get it 3 days before our flight, but have it before we flew in order to get on the plane. But a lot of the tests were like, you get your results back in like 5 days. So we were in sort of like a catch-22 situation. I was in Ohio. My friend Mel, who I traveled with, was in Sacramento, so our options were different. And so that part of the trip planning was kind of like, there's just a lot of confusion. So I hope to narrow all that down for you and get you to where you want to go sooner, easier, with more relaxation. You know what I mean? So you can move like this when you go to Maui. Have my ties. The first thing I mentioned was Hawaii Safe Travel. You'll need to get on Safe Travels Hawaii if you're traveling from the mainland to the island man, okay? If you want to do that, you need to get on Safe Travels Hawaii. So you get on Safe Travels Hawaii, and as a matter of fact, let me just show you. Okay. This is the Safe Travels landing page. I got here by going to Google first, and then just type in Safe Travels Hawaii. It's the first thing that pops up right under an ad. So you'll click on that and you'll land on this page right here. What you'll do from this page is create an account, and once you press that button, it'll lead you to this page where you'll put in all your info, and then that'll take you to the actual Safe Travels page. This is it. As you can see, I mean, it's pretty easy to navigate. There's not much to it. You have your 4 tabs. The first one with the airplane, that's for your trips. You'll log your trips. The second one, that's your health questionnaire. So 24 hours before you fly, they'll ask you a few questions about if you've been exposed to COVID, how you're feeling. The third one with the little calendar is a daily check-in. If you decide to quarantine, you'll come to this site every day, your first 10 days of Hawaii, and update your health status. And the fourth one with the little papers, the documents, that's where you'll put your hopefully negative COVID test, and that's what will give you access to the island without having to quarantine. I'll click on each one and let you see what each one is all about. Okay, so if I click on the trips tab, that'll take me to this page. And this is the one you really want to go to, not when you're planning your trip, but when you finally bought your flight and you know the exact dates that you'll go to, you know your flight number. You'll come to Safe Travels, you'll go into here, you'll click, you'll enter in all the information on this page, and that's pretty much it for that. Next is the health questionnaire, which is pretty straightforward. So with the trips, you'll do that as soon as you have your flight, but with the health questionnaire, you won't do that until the day before you fly. So say I bought my flight today and I plan to fly on April 2nd. I won't do the health questionnaire until April 1st. I'll go in there the night before my flight. update all my details about like how I'm feeling. They just ask you a question. So I'll click on that and let you see. If this was the night before your flight, there'd be a list of questions here, a short list, like how are you feeling? Have you experienced any COVID symptoms? But because I don't have a flight in the next 24 hours and I don't have a trip planned in Safe Travels right now, I get this notice that says I don't have a flight, so I don't have a health questionnaire to do. But that's all that's for that tab. Next is the daily check-in, and that's really you're only going to do this if you choose to do the quarantine over taking the test. So if you said, I'm going to go to Hawaii next week, and instead of having to go through all the trouble of getting the COVID test, I'm just going to quarantine for 10 days because I'm going to be there for 2 months. And then once my 10 days is up, I'm going to live. While you're in your quarantine, you'll do your daily check-ins. I didn't choose to do that because I was only going to be there a week. So I really don't have much to say about this or how this process goes. I got the COVID test, so I didn't have to quarantine. But if you did decide to quarantine, this would be the tab that you would come to every day for the first 10 days and update your health and such. Okay, baby, hold tight because this is the last one and the most important. This is the Documents tab. This is where you'll upload your COVID test. I hope it's negative for you. Okay, so as a matter of fact, I'll click on it and let you see. Here's what it looks like. Pretty much, it's straightforward. What you need to know, though, is that your COVID test, don't try to upload a screenshot. Don't upload a picture. Upload the PDF file. So if you got to get on a computer, you got to get on a tablet to do that, make sure you do that so you save yourself time. Because if you put in the wrong type of file or you put in the wrong type of test or whatever, or they can't read it, they'll let you know that on the site and then you'll have to re-upload it. So just upload the PDF, get it done, do it right the first time, and that is Safe Travels, y'all. Okay, so say you're going to Hawaii and you've decided, I'm going to go ahead and get the COVID test beforehand so that I don't have to quarantine. Well, that's good for you. Just know that you're within certain limitations. The first thing is you can't I cut my finger cutting turnips last night. What did Abraham Lincoln say? If he was going to cut down a tree, he'd spend majority of the time sharpening the axe. Yeah, when you cut with a dull knife, you can cut your finger because you're doing too much. So I was at my friend's house. Follow, sharpen your knives. So say you decided like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the COVID test before I go so that I don't have to worry about it when I get there. That's cool. The first thing to know is there's a list that Hawaii has of tests they accept, and if the test you get is not on that list, they don't accept your test. You can only get your COVID test from a Safe Travels trusted and traveling partner. Now, luckily for us, they make it easy and they have the list online. So here's their travel partners. This is at hawaiicovid19.com/travel-partner. They have a whole list, domestic, trans-Pacific trusting test. What am I saying? Domestic, trans-Pacific trusted partners. Okay, so we're going to go down that list and see, okay, who do they deal with? Who's also in my city? So this is what we went through. We went down the list, and you want to see, to make it easy for yourself, you want to have a list of the places in your city. Then you want to come to this list and you want to say, okay, this one isn't on the list, so I scratch that out. After that, you'll be left with like 3, maybe 4 places that you can get a COVID test that are also on the Hawaii's list. So you covered your bases there. The second thing to think about is what type of COVID test. There are 2 main types of COVID tests. There's the antibody test and there's the diagnostic test. In order to be able to take the test, get a negative result, and get into Hawaii, you need a diagnostic test, okay? So when you're looking at those, so you have your list of places in whatever city you're in Idaho, you're in New Mexico, you're in New York, you have your list of places, and particularly that are close to you that you can get your COVID test, okay? So you're starting where you're at. You're looking at what you have available to you. Then you take that list and you go look at Safe Travels and you say, okay, this isn't even on Safe Travels list. They're not even a partner, so I can't go there, I can't go there, I can't go there. You narrowed it down. Hopefully you have like 3 or 4 options left. Then you want to look at that list and see who's offering diagnostic testing. That's the test that's going to get you into Maui. If you take an antibody test, I didn't do that, so I can't tell you from experience what happens, but what I've read is it doesn't work, so don't do it. The third thing, you went on Safe Travels, you logged your trip, you're ready to do your health questionnaire, you're gonna take your COVID test, you know to get it diagnostic. The next thing is you have to get it within a certain time frame. So you've decided, I'm getting my test, you know what's available to you, you know it's diagnostic, and now your next step, so you wanna make sure that you get your test 72 hours before your flight. Like I said, I flew out on Monday, so I have my test done. I calculated even down to the hour on Friday. And here's where the tricky part comes in. You have a 72-hour window. If you get your test outside of that, like say I was flying on Monday and I got my test on Thursday, my test wouldn't be valid. And I would have to quarantine when I got to Hawaii, and all the money I spent on the activities I was gonna do would be a waste. Most places, you get a diagnostic test and then you get the results within 4 or 5 days. Well, if I'm flying in 3 days, if I get my test in a 72-hour window, but I have to wait 5 days to get my results, I won't have the results by the time I fly. So the issue here is figuring out a place where you can go within 3 days of your flight and get the results right away. Some people might say, oh yeah, just get rapid testing, but a lot of rapid testing is antibody testing. So what you need to do is find a rapid test that's also diagnostic, that you can send, that's approved by Safe Travels Hawaii. That's basically it in a nutshell. I spent an hour and a half and a headache trying to figure out where to get my test. I ended up going with CVS, which the CVS in my city did diagnostic testing, and they did rapid testing, but it was rapid antibody testing. So neither of those would have worked for me, because either I would have got my results too late with the diagnostic, or I would have had the wrong test and fast results with the antibody. So I ended up going to a CVS in a different city, and they did rapid diagnostic testing, and that's what I did. That solved my problem. CVS, Walgreens, I don't even know, Rite Aid, I think Rite Aid does it. Just be careful that, like, when you get on the website, in order to get, either you can sign up for, like, okay, I'm getting this for travel, let me take the test, and you pay like what, $120 something, or you go through their questionnaire and they ask you, have you been exposed, do you have a headache, blah blah blah, and you answer those questions accordingly. And in some cases you can get approved to just get it through your insurance, and that's the way that I got it. I hope that the process for you is streamlined. Just remember, you see what's available to you, and approved by Hawaii. Get a rapid diagnostic test and get it within 72 hours of your flight, and you should be good to go. CVS has those. I also went to a website, I'll link in the description below, I don't remember what it was called, but it's in my history, and that really helped me out. That helped me to find the CVS and Walgreens situation. Use what you have to your advantage. Get the test. It's not impossible. Just be like on the ball, you know, that as soon as it gets 3 days before you want to schedule your test, get in there, make your appointment. Rapid diagnostic 72 hours before your trip, approved by Hawaii Safe Travels, and you should be good to go. See you in Maui. Mahalo!
If you liked that video, show me by liking, subscribing, comment, and if you have any questions or additional comments. Did I forget anything? See y'all next video.